On our last video, we talked about the advantages that OneNote Desktop has over OneNote for Windows 10. This week, it's time to turn the tables. And just in case you missed it, don't get the wrong idea from this video. You can happily continue to use the OneNote that you prefer. Although Microsoft has restarted the development on OneNote Desktop, you don't need to change. As it stands in 2021, Microsoft is supporting both versions. But as we said last week, link below, you can expect the gap between those two apps will close up considerably over the next couple of years. Personally, I use OneNote for Windows 10 to take notes, to write my scripts, to work on ideas, and to store articles and web clips on topics that I'm researching. And here are the reasons that I'll continue to use OneNote for Windows 10 until OneNote Desktop catches up. Firstly, OneNote for Windows 10 is faster. Not to load, they both load at about the same speed on my machines anyway. But it is faster to sync with your notebooks on other devices. So when I'm sharing a notebook with other people via OneNote for Windows 10, it's much faster to sync. Others will see my updates, usually within a second or two. On the other hand, the OneNote Desktop app can be a real snail here. That said, this is one of the major updates that the OneNote team have promised to bring to OneNote Desktop, so this gap could disappear very soon. I haven't compared it for a long time, but OneNote for Windows 10 used to be much lighter on battery usage as well. It most likely still is better, but I'd expect that to change as the code for OneNote Desktop gets updated to the modern standard. And I suspect that the new faster sync engine might have an impact on that when it arrives. Another reason that I use OneNote for Windows 10 is that it's a much simpler, cleaner, and more modern looking app. The toolbars look nicer, they take up less space, and it looks much cleaner because of that. One of the key reasons that I use OneNote in general is that it's a clean slate where I can work on content without the distraction of formatting and messaging trying to divert my focus. And I think that OneNote for Windows 10 is better at this than OneNote Desktop, which is looking pretty tired at comparison. One thing in particular that looks outdated in OneNote Desktop is that Draw tab that dates back to OneNote's launch in 2002. Even Word, Excel, and PowerPoint have updated this toolbar and added new features since 2016, but OneNote Desktop still has that draw menu from all the way back in 2002. And while OneNote for Windows 10 has the latest draw features and low latency inking capabilities, OneNote Desktop desperately needs an update. For example, you'll notice that pencils and shape recognition are missing when compared to OneNote for Windows 10. I hope that as OneNote moves forward, that they take the inking experience from OneNote for Windows 10 and improve it even further across both of the apps. Maybe incorporating some of the cool features from Microsoft Garage's Journal app. In OneNote for Windows 10, I use the dictate feature to create scripts a lot. It makes a lot of sense in the right environment to be able to capture content this way, especially when the content will be spoken. You won't find dictate in OneNote Desktop currently. It is in Word, Outlook, and PowerPoint, but it's not in OneNote Desktop. So hopefully they add that feature soon. But in the meantime, I'll happily keep using OneNote for Windows 10. When you're switching between OneNote on other platforms like OneNote.com on the web or in Teams, or OneNote on iPad, you'll find that the menu structure of OneNote for Windows 10 is more consistent and relatable. And while I've been a OneNote user since 2003, and I know what I'm looking at in both apps, I do prefer the layout and flow of the navigation in OneNote for Windows 10. I think it's because it gives me more vertical space to work with, since the tabs are not at the top, and I find that less distracting since it's all together on the left. I can also toggle the navigation on and off quickly by clicking on the notebook icon. By toggling the navigation on and off, I can easily have two pages sitting side by side, referencing one page as I type on the other page. That said, there is a little bit of wasted space in the nav bar on the left here. OneNote for Windows 10 has direct camera integration, which is great on devices like my Surface Pro and Go, since they both have documentation cameras on board. OneNote Desktop doesn't have this feature at all. A little side note, we created a documentation camera app called GeoTabCam that does add camera functionality into Office desktop apps like OneNote, so I'll leave a link to information about that below. And lastly, there is the Immersive Reader. The Immersive Reader started life as an add-in for OneNote Desktop. And while it's now built into OneNote for Windows 10, on OneNote Desktop it still needs to be downloaded and installed. So there are a few of the reasons that I use OneNote for Windows 10. I hope that this comparison helped you to evaluate the differences and the advantages of each of the two apps. It looks to me that over the next couple of years, those differences between the two apps should disappear. Although we're still dealing with the 2-app problem for now, the future is looking really bright for OneNote on both Windows and in Office 365. We're celebrating 20 years of OneNote over the next 12 months by releasing a free video training series right here on YouTube. Over the last few years, we created a series of videos to help our training customers to learn and use both OneNote 2016, also called Desktop, and OneNote for Windows 10, and we'll be sharing those videos here for free. So check the description below for links to the training playlist that will go live on September the 1st, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so that you get notifications about our next OneNote video. I'll be going into depth on the history of OneNote, so stay tuned and thanks for watching.